Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Next Gen MFG. I'm your host, Noosh, and this episode I'll be joined by Sydney Stewart. She's a welder that I met on TikTok. I kind of just somehow ended up stumbling on her account. I think she's a really cool person, and I'm excited to introduce her to you all.
My name's Sydney. I'm 21. I'm from South Carolina, and I'm a pipe welder and pipe fitter.
I love your energy. This energy is perfect. This makes me feel so much more comfortable. How did you get into welding?
I actually, funny story. So, like, my junior year of high school, I had this really good childhood friend, and she was actually taking a welding class my junior year of high school, and I thought that was cool, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do because I was wanted to go like a 4 year college type deal. But that just wasn't working out because I didn't do so hot in high school. I didn't take grades seriously. So I decided to take it my senior year of high school, and I actually really, really liked it, but I only learned how to do like structural welding and stuff, and that's not really the direction I wanted to go with it. I took my high school welding class and I graduated. I wanted to take a gap year because I didn't know if I still wanted to go to technical college or trade school or anything. And I went and I worked at a structural steel type of job where we would I-beams for buildings and stuff all day. Terrible job. That place was literally the worst. I worked that for like, I think that lasted for like a month. I was like, okay, well, that's it. And then after that, I went and I got another welding job, and that was to go weld elevator floors. It was like a production job. That one also sucked really bad. I'm being so honest. Um, so my dad actually has a friend, and he's been big time nuclear pipe welder, like all kinds of stuff. And I would just call him, and I asked him for advice, and he was like, honestly, you should just go to trade school and learn how to weld pipe. So I tossed around the idea of going back to college. Finally got back, and since I had already been welding for like a year before I even went into trade school, they were just like, you can just take pipe classes. So I did, and I learned everything that I needed to do. And they actually had a lot of connections with a lot of really big construction companies. So when I like went took all the weld tests for those companies, and that school actually connected me with like getting all the big road jobs that I have now. So that kind of really just got like my foot in the door.
So, where did you go to school?
I went to a community college called Greenville Technical College. It's a college in Greenville, South Carolina.
So I know like community college and tech schools are really great for networking, and I think that's amazing that you brought that up, how it helped you build those connections.
Hmm.
So because you already had experience welding before you went to school, that also really, really helped you when
Oh
you
yeah,
excel. Can you talk
yeah.
a little bit about can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, actually, while I was in trade school, I was working a little part-time job at a little tool store, and I was like, well, I'm not making enough money because I was low key, I still am kind of expensive as a person. But anyways, uh, um, but I was like, dang. So while I was in welding school, actually one of my instructors, he was so cool. He decided to hook me up with a little fab shop type of job, like in a pipe shop welding pipe, and it was all stainless, and that's really mostly what I weld now today. And that just helped me get like a lot of experience leading up to getting an actual job, and I was pulling 18-hour days. Like it was hard. I did that for like a year straight pretty much. I was in welding school pulling a full-time job. It was second shift. Like I got like 2 hours of sleep a night. And it was hard, but it really paid off because I don't want to sound cocky when I say this, but I came out of welding school a lot better than other kids my age did. And I was more confident with myself when it came to welding a lot of things. I've never really like been one to doubt myself when it comes to making any kind of weld out there. So that's pretty much it.
You're a really good guest. I don't think you realize you said it was your first time being on a podcast. That's actually very surprising. Like, your vibe is literally perfect.
Yours
Perfect.
is too. I like this. I'm glad
Thank
you're easy to
you.
talk to.
Thank
I was so
you.
scared because I get so scared to talk to people.
That's like another thing about being on other podcasts. I've noticed it's so hard to be interviewed by somebody who's older and successful, been there, done that. Like, yes,
Hmm.
you may have struggled, but you've made it. It's so hard for
Hmm.
me to talk to you about like my
Hmm.
struggles. So I feel
Hmm.
like this is a
Because
bit easier, you know.
yeah, it is. Because how old are you?
21 as well.
So we're the same age.
Yeah, we're
And
the
it's
same
not
age.
crazy. We live so close
I know,
together.
and I like that's crazy. I wouldn't have ever met you if I hadn't looked up welders on TikTok. Right.
I saw your thing and I was like, sure, let's do it. And then it's funny because there was like three other podcasts in the same one that I asked me to be. So I have to be on like three other podcasts.
You literally are so well spoken. You would be a perfect person to have on the stage to like talk about their experience, especially because Yes, you went to trade school, but you also had a year of experience, then went to trade school. That's also the perfect story to talk about.
I don't think public speaking is literally not my thing.
Believe me, I was shutting down during IMTS. Like I
Yeah.
was so scared. I was having imposter syndrome for I didn't go to school for machining, so like everything
Huh.
I learned was dead ass on the job.
Yeah, but
I
that's
faked
a
it till
good
I
way
made
to
it.
do it.
You right, you right. You right. But I like faked it till I made it. I told them like multiple times, I'm nervous. I'm gonna accidentally swear. I'm gonna stutter. And they're like, no, that's perfect. We want you to be nervous. That shows how much you actually care about this. And
How old were you when you did that
I was
though?
21. I was 21. I was like, that was recent. Yeah. It was the
Uh-huh.
scariest, but like also the most moving moment of my life. And honestly, I would love to give other people that opportunity because you might think your story doesn't matter. It
Mhm.
does. There's gonna be some little kid that hears that, and
Yeah.
that's gonna be what changes everything for them.
Right, it is
Everything.
because even like I said earlier when I was checking my message request, like I get on like Instagram, I get all kinds of girls and they're like, I just think this is so cool. Like I want to be you. Like, do you have any advice for Willis?
No, but that's literally that's how powerful your platform is, and you
Mhm.
are literally marketing to that group that we want. So thank you for that.
No, it's okay. I'll literally yap for forever. So just please tell
No,
me to
I
shut
love
up if you
no,
have
it's okay. It's okay.
to.
This is my little yap corner. I love it. That's what makes it comfortable though, because
Yeah,
you could just talk and it's okay.
I
Let's
thank
see.
God you're so easy to talk to. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for thinking that. Thank you for thinking that. You're making me feel very comfortable, by the way. Like I'm like, okay, this is okay. It's like I'm talking to a friend. That's how I want it to be. Like,
We're on a FaceTime call right now.
exactly, we're on a FaceTime call. That's how I want my yeah, that's how I want it
Yeah.
to be.
hmm
You went to trade school. You're
hmm
currently working right now. So
hmm
how much travel is involved in your job?
Okay, so me, I haven't really ever been loyal to like one company. So how welding works, especially road welding, there's things called outage season. All the big plants like nuclear plants, paper mills, all the big ones you'll see on the side of the road that have all these lights. They have these things every fall and spring called outages, and that's when they'll shut the plant down so we can go in and repair whatever pipes need to be fixed, tubes, water walls, valves, literally everything that needs to be fixed. So when I first started out on the road, I was an outage worker, and I actually started out as a boilermaker, which I will literally never ever do again. That was the worst experience of my entire life. That was not what I wanted to do. Um, but then there's also like new construction and stuff like that. Outage work is only in the fall and the spring, and I didn't know that when I first started off because I started off early spring, and I thought it was just going to be a constant thing. And so the money on outage work is the best thing ever. And like summertime rolled around and I was like, why are they not calling me back for jobs? Like what's going on? And I really wish that I knew that it was going to be outage work because I did all this blindly. Like I learned how to do all this literally all by myself. Like I had nobody showing me what to do. And I finally met some people and they got me into the whole pipe welding thing, and I went and I took my first pipe test, and then I went on and I got on like a bunch of new construction jobs. Like there was a big new construction job going on in like Kingsport, Tennessee. That was my favorite job site ever. I've worked in Georgia a lot. But what does suck about the road stuff sometimes you will be talking to companies and you will drive like 16, 17 hours and you can show up the next day and you will not have a job. Like they just like play a little joke. This past January, I drove from South Carolina all the way out to Iowa, and I would talk to this job for like 3 weeks, maybe a month or something like that. And they told me to be out there. So I packed up. I was ready to go on out there. And I got out there the next day in the hiring office after I drove, I think it was like 17 hours. And they were like, "Who are you? Like, why are you here?" And I was like, "Are you serious right now?" And they're like, "Yeah, well, we don't really have a job for you right now." And I was like, "But I've literally been talking to you guys for like 3 weeks. Like, no, I need a job. I just drove from all the way from the East Coast. I need a job." And they were like, "We can talk to this job in South Dakota." And I was like, "Well, honestly, at this point, you might as well because South Dakota wasn't really that far. That was like most like 6, 8 hours." So they were like, "Okay, well, you can go back to the camper, like, go hang out. We'll let you know by lunchtime if you have a job." They call me back and they're like, "Oh, we don't have a job for you. You can go back to South Carolina." And I was like, "Oh, are you serious?" I've never really been emotional about a job, but that was the biggest what the fuck moment. So, Yeah, that was really bad. They didn't give me mileage pay though. I did make sure I got a little bit of money out of that. Yeah, but I do work with a bunch of different companies. I think since I first started the road thing, I've worked for like 12 different companies, and there's this term called dragging up. Do you know what dragging up means? Oh, and this is like quitting, like, because, we all got them job boxes, and you're like, I'm dragging up, load my box. That's our version of quitting. I did that. I was really irresponsible with that last year. I was constantly dragging up over the slightest bit because I would act like a whiny little. I'm not gonna lie. Every little thing upset me, and I was super irresponsible. I haven't drug up once this year, actually. I've been doing good this year. I've been seeing every job from start to finish ever since I hired him. We've been doing good this year, so we're maturing. We're maturing a lot. We've learned a lot.
How does it work? Are you contracted through these companies?
No, it's kind of just like a who you know type of deal. You're not like a private contractor. Now, pipeline is a completely different story. If you're pipeline, that's like private contractor. You got to have your own company, LLC, $1 million insurance. It just depends on who you work for when it comes to pipeline. But when you do the stuff I do, you just basically call up a company like you would any other job. Like if you were going to call Walgreens or something like, hey, I need a job. I'm a pipe welder. Can I get a weld test? Are y'all hiring? And they'd be like, yeah, come on. That's all you got to do. It's literally just like any other job. It's just you're not home.
What's some advice you have for somebody who's wanting to like do that kind of like cold calling? Because I know a lot of like people our age, we're anxious when it comes to reaching out to employers like that, and like that stuff is just
Yeah.
very scary. What?
I would just say honestly go for it, but don't get let down if they tell you that they're not hiring. And I would also recommend getting your name out there and keeping a good reputation out there on the road as best you can, because word on the road literally spreads so fast about you. You will literally get to know everybody, especially if you get up there with the welding and the pipe fitting. You will literally get to know so many people so fast, and it's all about connections. So don't ever get upset if the company's saying that they're not hiring, because there's literally always somebody out there hiring. How'd you wind up
Yeah,
in North
I'm
Carolina?
saying. Wait, I came down here for NASCAR Tech. Oh yeah.
I've grown up around that stuff too. My dad's like full blown like Toyota outfitter mechanic.
So you grew up around like blue collar.
Yeah,
That's
actually, my
nice.
dad he refueled nuclear reactors my whole life, so he worked on the road doing that stuff, and that's some serious stuff. But he got burnt out on it, and he kind of got tired of working for somebody. He's like, I'm gonna go be my own boss now. Now he's got his own shop, and he's got 4 2-post lifts in it. So he's got like a
That's
Snap-on
what's
truck
up.
coming.
That's what's up.
Let me know. We live close.
For
It's so nice talking to somebody that actually knows what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. Literally, like, I'll talk to any other, like, girl about anything like this, and it's just like, oh, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done talking. I'm gonna shut up
no, it
now.
that's a mood. But lately, I've been realizing I surround myself with people that aren't fucking bitches. I've noticed I've surrounded myself with
Amen.
people that
Amen.
actually would be like, "Oh no, this is how that works."
Right.
Oh,
There's no point in being a stuck up person your entire freaking
uh-huh.
life.
I'm saying,
Just be
and
nice. Just be nice.
do you have anything you want to like mention about your time at trade school or no, not trade school, community college? Because I think all of my guests lately have been like trade school students, so hearing from community college would be cool.
Well, it was community college, but I didn't go through the associate program. Like I literally just went to get like my certifications, and like that was it. Like I did not do math, English, none of that. I literally only went like strictly for welding, like Monday through Thursday, and that was it. So like
Honestly,
I don't think it was a bad deal, because I think at the time when I enrolled, they were giving like free tuition for trade classes. So like I learned to weld pipe completely for free.
that's really good because like I know a lot of people that like tune into my podcast don't want to take the core
Mhm.
classes. They just want to do what
Mhm.
they're passionate in. So it's
I would honestly recommend going to a community college. I know in South Carolina, the rule is if you get like a 3.0 GPA or something like that, you can go to community college or a technical college completely for free because of some scholarship. I don't know if that's all over the country, but I would definitely recommend doing that versus going to like, these big welding schools like Tulsa and Western Welding Academy. Because I know kids that have gone to those schools, and it's literally a joke.
mhm.
Like, think this past March, I went to go give weld tests to these kids that paid like $30,000 for like 6 months of school. That's a lot of money. And they couldn't weld, they all failed.
And
God, I know a kid, he went to that Western Welding Academy school, the one that's all the way out in Wyoming. But I was being nosy and talking to somebody about it. And even Tulsa Welding Academies like this, they do certain things for 5 weeks at a time. So let's say you're gonna weld TIG pipe in the 2G position, which is pipe's gonna be like this and the weld's gonna be right in the middle right here. They only get like 5 weeks to learn that. That's a long time. Like if you've never done anything like that and you don't know anything about it, that takes more than 5 weeks to learn. I think it took me to get the full concept of learning how to weld pipe, just basic carbon steel, was like 6 months for me to like really get it down, really learn how to put a root in, cap one, everything, like make it X-ray quality, worthy weld. But I think all those schools, they push and push and push to be so fast, you really don't get your $30,000 worth. I think paying $30,000 for weld school is ridiculous. Just go to a freaking community college, please. Save your money and go get a real job. I promise it'll be so much better.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids want to just do the trade school route because it's
Mm-hmm.
marketed to be quick. 8 months
Mm-hmm.
training, 6 months training, and
Right. Like I had a kid, he worked with me this past summer and he was young or 20 or something like that. We're all young. Anyways, but he went to that Western Welding Academy and I asked, "How long did you go?" He was like 3 months and he paid a lot of money. I don't really remember how much he said, but his welds were like, I wouldn't have paid that much money to come out with that kind of experience or whatever. Either go into a company as a helper or go to a community college.
you said you were proctoring kids' weld tests.
I ran with I did go give out well tests with them. I just felt so bad for all of those kids in there because my boss, he was really mean and he would yell at them a lot and it kind of like ruined their whole experience because these kids are still in welding school. And my boss would literally yell at them like, "Y'all are freaking late. Y'all don't need to be showing up. Y'all can't do this on the job site, blah blah, blah." Keep in mind, this guy has never literally been in the field, never touched a tool once in his entire life. He was literally like an HR guy. Never done anything before. So it was kind of ruining that experience. I would step into their booths and be like, "I promise you, just try to pass this test, please, because this man is just mean, and when you get out there, it's not going to be like that at all." But unfortunately, they all failed. It was really, really bad. And all the kids that I gave it to in Columbia, South Carolina, because it was a community college, they all passed. The ones that went to Tulsa Welding Academy, none of them passed. So I just think I'm so for real when I say this. Go to a community college, please, because those programs are so much better. You have so much time. If you even want to go get an associate's, you can. So, I mean, it's just, I think it'd be better and it saves money, it's cheaper, and you can get out and actually be a decent welder. So you can
and
find a job.
and a lot of those instructors have more real world experience, so they can give you more real world advice. Everything about a community college experience, it prepares you more for the actual experience of welding and working.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Like my teacher, he was really cool. Actually, I had a girl teacher too. They were both really sweet. Um, but we would always have straight up weld competition in college just to see who could beat them. Like they were good welders, but I think a lot of us came out on top on those. But they're good people. I love them to death. I can literally still go up into my trade school now. I'm a pipe fitter right now. I haven't welded since June. If I wanted to go in there and just practice some stainless, I could go. It's easier to get into a community college to go practice for a weld test instead of freaking out about it. In a community college, if you don't burn bridges with people versus if you go to Tulsa, it's just always to have doors open. And that's why I say just like keep doors open, good connections with people, because you will never know where this stuff will take you because it can take you literally so far.
I do want to talk about like social media because you've been posting a lot. First of all, I want to say thank you for posting in a way that gives women in the industry a good image.
Yeah.
Um,
I try like to not post like revealing stuff because I think it was like 2 years ago on TikTok. There was just like a lot of drama with like girls being like low key like really revealing and like blue collar work, and I just don't think that's very smart. It makes us all look bad. Like we have it hard enough out here already. Like there's some nasty men out there. Like I've had some wild stuff happen. Um, and back to the road things. Never mix friendship with business, I guess is the best way to say it. Never bring like one of your really good friends on the road with you. Because when you go to work together, you ride together, you sleep in the same hotel room, like all kinds of stuff. Like it's just really hard to keep up. Like personally, me, if I'm around somebody too much, I just like start to tweak a little bit. Like everything they do kind of pisses me off. And I hate being like that. I really do. But I feel like everybody's kind of like that in a sense. Um, but I've had this like lifelong friend. and I don't really care, but she'd copy literally everything I do. And we stopped talking for like 2 years, and that's when I got serious about the whole welding thing. And I got out there in the field, found out she was a welder, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll be her friend again. I took her on a job with me, and oh my god, she destroyed 2 marriages. I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but she was out there. She destroyed 2 marriages, and both of those marriages, there was like kids under the age of 4. Um, did some other questionable things. Found out she would like take pictures of my welds and like claim them to be hers, and she would drag my name through the dirt. I can't stand girls that get in these fields and think that they're better than all the other women out here, because we're literally all on the same freaking playing field. Like, it literally, we're all made of the same stuff. But it's just girls that put others down to make themselves look better, like this girl did to me a lot. We're no longer friends. So that one's been done since then. But yeah, no more. But I just really cannot stand when girls do that. And like, I'm the nicest person. I'll be your best friend, but like, don't don't use me, and don't use your body to see if you can get what you want out there, because it's not gonna work. So she's ruined her entire name with the welding community, and especially the road stuff. And some of the guys she was messing around with are really big names out there. She's ruined it for herself. She doesn't even do it anymore.
The thing about me is like I'm a girl's girl till the fucking day I die. I don't give a
Oh, me
fuck
too.
if you're doing something
Me
stupid. I'm
too.
gonna
Me
support
too.
you. But the
Right.
moment you disrespect another girl just because you want the male gaze, it's over. We are never talking
Yeah.
again. You are
Right.
done.
Right. It was to the point where she was asking me wear some of her clothes to work so she could look more blue collar, because I always did the harder jobs than her, because all she would do all day long is stand around and talk to people. And it was so funny because all these other guys would come up and talk to me, not even like an interest, literally just coworkers. And they would come up and they would talk to me, and they would be like, "Hey, like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing?" Just normal coworker conversation. Nothing crazy, no hitting on. That would eat her up so bad that she hated that. So she would always have to come in and insert herself into the conversation and put me down. And I'm sitting there like, what? And I would never say anything because I would just let her talk herself in circles. But like, I was just standing there like, girl, what are you talking about?
And and the thing is, you'll be normally communicating. I'm not even flirting. If you wanted to see me flirt, I'd have all these. All right, like let's like first of all, I don't think people realize that. Like,
Ooh, another thing that drives me crazy is I've had multiple instances. When I'm out on the road, like if I talk to you literally in passing, unless you're my fitter or my welder, it just depends on who you are. We'll just have conversations. But guys that I don't even talk to, they'll come up to me just randomly like, "Oh, my wife hates you," and I'm like, "Why? Like, who are you? Like, what?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, she just doesn't like the fact that you work with me, and she thinks that we're flirting all day." And I'm like, "What? I don't even know who you are." But I was getting off work. I don't even remember where I was working, but this woman had such a problem with me working with her husband. We didn't even talk. But she would follow me back to the hotel, watch me on my lunch break, stalk me on social media, like everything. Like I almost texted her like, "Hey, do you want to like go grab coffee or something? Like I promise you, I'm not like the job site whore. Like I promise you, like you have nothing to worry about. Like I get your concern, but you do not need to be following me around. That is a little insane."
I really enjoyed recording with you.
Uh,
I definitely need to have you on again.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
actually not as scary as I thought it was gonna be.
it's really fun when you start to get comfortable. Thank you so much, Sydney, for joining me and
Thank you
yapping
for
with me
having
for an
me.
hour. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed talking with you. It was like as if we were on FaceTime, and I really enjoyed the vibe you bring. I'm excited to hear more about what you do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very big fan of the stuff that you post on TikTok, so I will continue to like it and comment. If those of you who want to check her out on TikTok, I'll have her TikTok link below. I'll also have her Instagram in the description. And if you want to, this was episode 6. This was me and Sydney.